Let's talk about the furry comic Synthetic Instinct. Standing at a pretty sturdy 50 pages or so, it updates very slowly, but this is quite possibly some of the best furry artwork I have ever seen. Like, no joke, the author makes every panel a painting, and it is just staggering to look at. In it, we follow cat-dog hybrid named Issa Feliz. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but there's nothing I can do about it. Issa is a chimera, which is this world's word for half-breed. She is of canine and feline heritage. She did a good job hiding it up into adulthood, but eventually she was caught by the government and deported from her home. Apparently, having mixed parentage is a big no-no in the nicer neighborhoods of the city, called the Rings. Ring 1 is apparently a perfect utopia. Ring 2 is a pretty nice living with individual homes and yards. Ring 3 is a slum where all of the quote-unquote undesirables get sent, including half-breeds like Issa. Ring 4 is, well, you can imagine. Spoilers. Issa is getting deported from Ring 2 to Ring 3, leaving her mother behind in the process. Her new government-assigned job is a shitty food factory. Her government-assigned home is a nasty old apartment where the previous tenant died 2 days ago with paper-thin walls. Her government-assigned "we know where you are at all times" bracelet prevents her from ever visiting her mother in Ring 2 again. Ring 3 is an absolute shithole, and Issa cries herself to sleep at night. Why is this happening? Did someone rat her out? Did she not pass as a full cat or a full dog anymore? Why now? Why is this happening to her? Her whole life is pulled out from under her, and she's shoved into this run-down nightmare world out of nowhere. I'd cry too, honestly. Her next-door neighbor's cat, and think about how much sense that makes, helps her meet someone new right away, though. His name is Rex, and he is a machina. A remnant of the old war. Machina were mindless war machines that, after the war ended, became useless, so they were granted a learning AI to develop personalities and find a use in what remains of society. No two machina are alike, as each one has different experiences, different interactions with others, and different preferences that evolved over time. Think of them like 7-foot-tall children that matured in only a couple of years once they were able to. Rex is politely spoken, very aware of how big he is compared to everyone else, and is a good listener who is kind to Issa whenever they talk. He often hears her crying herself to sleep at night and offers condolences and other small kindnesses when he can. I find it especially interesting that Rex understands complex concepts like nudity, pet ownership, and good manners around others. With her strange robot neighbor as her only friend, Issa must navigate the treacherous and often dangerous world that is Ring 3. Not knowing where stores are, getting harassed to and from work, and honestly even just the heat. Ring 3 is a completely different world from where Issa came from. She even goes out of her way to buy all different clothing because it is so much hotter in Ring 3 than it is in Ring 2. We get a lot of good world building out of Issa's shopping trips too. Look at this. The shampoo label says "safe for all feliform coats." Like, who stops and thinks of that when a character goes shopping? There are so many species, chimera and otherwise, in Ring 3 that shampoos have to have safety labels on them, and the author put that in with enough foresight to have that as a detail. That's just amazing to me. Thankfully, nobody messes with Issa when she's walking around with her robot friend, and who can blame them? He is twice the size of anyone else. It doesn't take long for them to develop a deep, platonic relationship. Issa needs help to get used to her new job and surroundings, and Rex is clearly lonely. Again, something to think about. The robot is lonely. Now, I'd like to go into more detail about this one because, man, the world building and artwork is just top tier. But again, there's only something like 50 or so pages of this one so far, and I don't want to spoil too much. You really don't see a lot of furry sci-fi these days, at least none that I've come across. Most furry comics are either slice of life or somewhere on the fantasy genre spectrum. Seeing a hard, dirty, greasy sci-fi setting like this one is a breath of fresh air and definitely deserves your attention. Like I said, the absolutely amazing artwork keeps it to a mere one update per month, if that, but every one of them is something to look forward to. The backgrounds, the lighting, the character designs, it's just chef's kiss. In a fandom like this one, where everyone is a creator or an artist, it is very hard to stand out. But no one will ever mistake this comic as anything else but what it is, head and shoulders above the rest in the art department. Ring 3 is a character unto itself, sporting graffiti, harsh environments, and rundown garbage everywhere you look. The obvious race relation and overbearing government angles leave plenty to explore and talk about, always a plus. And Issa is certainly someone you can root for, really rounding out the comic as she has plenty of thoughts and feelings to paint her as the perfect every woman that we all want to see. It's dark, it's gritty, it's not very nice, but man, this comic is gorgeous and it deserves all the attention that it's getting. So, should you read Synthetic Instinct? If you're patient as far as waiting for updates and understand that not every story out there is going to be a happy one, this comic is more, cautiously optimistic, if that makes any sense. There's a lot of suffering here, much of it completely outside our character's control. But it's the small victories and the few good friends you make along the way that make the story worth getting into. I'd say check it out.